So in this lesson, we're going to work on creating some Seascape colors, basing everything on Cerulean Blue. Now I did a little prep work here because I want to show you something. So the Cerulean Blue that's in my acrylic palettes is from Decor Traditions, and it's PB35 single pigment, and it's opaque. So when I was playing with some colors, when I put everything down here, I had too much water, so you can see that it's transparent. Now just by taking the paint and just adding more color, it becomes opaque. Now in acrylics, depending on the brand you're using, this will be noticeable. It's very noticeable in oils, depending on the brand that you use. Now Cerulean Blue, although a beautiful color for seascapes, and that's a go-to color. I mean, you can color mix, which is what I like to do, but if I'm going to do something super large, instead of mixing up a whole bunch of colors with my phthalo blue, with a little bit of, let's say, even phthalo green or yellow, and with white to make a whole pile for a seascape, especially with acrylics because it dries so fast, is sometimes it's just a little bit more convenient to use something that's already made. When it comes to portrait painting, I also use Cerulean Blue to knock down the intensity of some of the areas on a face or on a body. But again, it can be done with phthalo blue as well. Phthalo blue and some phthalo green and some white. And that's what we're going to be working on now. So to start off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to create something that's very similar to this. Because this Cerulean Blue is a single pigment, I will never get an exact match. So we're going to try to get something close. So when looking at that, the first thing I see, well, it's definitely blue, so I'm going to use more blue. And it is a bit more on the green side, so I'm going to take a little bit of the phthalo green. Oop, had to stop just for a second. You know, Ms. Barky Pants. Okay, I can't see this. I have no idea what color this is. Well, let's add some white. It's very intense, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close to that. Let's just use this, okay? So I'm going to add white right to this mix here because we're going to be adding white to everything anyways. So that's our close mixture to this here. Okay, that's got a little bit more white in it to compare. Okay. Now phthalo blue and phthalo green are more transparent and not opaque, so that's another thing to keep in mind. As soon as you add the white, that's when you really see the differences in the color. Got to let that dry before we make any judgments because that's dry. So let's just continue working with this. And what I'm going to do is take this and I'm going to add some black to it. Let's add some black to it. So we're working with a stormy color. Stormy color. Oh, that's nice. It's always nice to paint seascapes, you know, bright sunny seascapes and that, but you know, sometimes you need to get some shadow colors in there and, you know, to paint effects of a storm, that type of thing. So with that, what if I wanted to take a little bit more of the green? And let's take a little bit more white. And then to this mixture, let's take a little bit more black. And some white. And what this color gets to now is you get some nice subtle, you can make ripples in water. Okay, nice. And this also works well for water that's way in the distance because stuff that's way in the distance is more grayed down. So that's where these colors really come in handy. So if we turn around and we take our, oops, sorry, wrong one. Let's try that again. If we turn around and try to create something similar with ultramarine blue, okay, and phthalo green, we'll use equal parts. Ultramarine blue is a weaker blue. It's a blue that leans towards violet. Phthalo green, super powerful, so it's going to overtake it. And the temptation is just to use more ultramarine blue. Can't see that. Let's add white. It's automatically grayed down a little bit because phthalo green is a green that leans towards blue. Ultramarine blue is a blue that leans towards violet. Okay, so it's more, and violet has red in it, which is a complement to green. So, I mean, it gets to where you need to know all about the colors in order to see how the colors are being shifted. So as long as you know the basics of where the color shifts on the color wheel, that's going to help you so much. Now, if we take this, let's put more green in that. Add more white because we can't see it. Ooh. Add more white. Like that. Let's see, add even more green. Add more white. Love that color. Okay, let's take this mixture, and I need more blue. You know what I'm tempted to do? Try this experiment by adding phthalo blue to it, to the actual mixture, which I think I might actually do. So now I'm taking that mixture and just adding ultramarine blue. Add white. That's a really nice blue. Counting all the mixtures that you've been doing over the whole series of videos making Seascape colors, can you imagine how many colors you'd have to buy to actually get that? That's a color, that's a color, that's a color, that's a color, you know, just count and count and count, and how much money you'd be saving just knowing the basics of color mixing. Because you can actually buy some of the colors, regardless of the brand, where all they've done is add white. And it's super convenient for people who are learning that don't want to learn color mixing. They don't want to learn color theory. They don't want to just basic painting as a hobby type of thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I know there's a lot of you out there that really want to use better quality products, learn more about color mixing so you don't have to have as many colors, and to really push your skills to the next level. I have no idea what I mixed here. So let's see. This is phthalo blue, phthalo green, and then what did I do? This more, oh goodness gracious me. Phthalo green, I think. And this is the mix plus black. This is the mix plus ultramarine blue. Some more blue plus phthalo green on this side. See, this is why it's important to make notes. That way you just don't forget. And I do that, I forget. And this is that mixture here. This is Cerulean Blue, which is PB 35. Alrighty. So there we go. So there's another series of mixtures that you can make. Again, phthalo green is in my extended palette. I don't use it a lot, but it does come in handy when I just want to shift something. It's not always easy to shift just by adding yellow, because it depends on the yellow that you have. All right, so make up your charts and try to experiment with all these things, and you can always refer back to the original charts that I have of the pre-mixed colors, and then you can do some comparisons on those.